Arielle Loren
This
Show.
is the Arielle Loren Show.
This is the Arielle Loren Show. It's all about entrepreneurship. I mean, we have to be real about what the journey's really like.
This is the Arielle Loren
This
Show.
is the Arielle Loren Show.
This is the Arielle Loren Show. This is the show for the entrepreneur who is ready to make it.
This is the Arielle Loren
This
Show.
is the Arielle Loren Show.
This is the Arielle Loren Show.
So today's guest is one of the most enthusiastic entrepreneurs that I've ever met. She's always grinding. Charlotte Burley is a media superstar with titles such as award-winning copywriter, producer, television host, creative director, and published author under her belt. She owns her own video post-production company, Libra Baby Burley Productions, and is launching a television network, the T.O.S Network, which is dedicated to producing entertainment series for singles. The prototype launch of the T.O.S Network was a great success, with more programming and entertainment to come. Charlotte, welcome to the show, and I'm so excited to get all the updates of what you've been up to.
Thank you for having me, and congratulations again on all your success. I think you are doing a great job.
Thank you. So first, tell everyone how you even started your career as a copywriter and then eventually kind of transitioned into being an entrepreneur, starting Libra Baby, Burley Productions, etc.
Well, I got my start as a secretary for NBC Sci-Fi Channel. At the time, there used to be a lot of hunters and agencies that would get you jobs. And I moved to New York and went to an agency, and they sent me to NBC to work for the senior vice president of marketing and branding to the Sci-Fi Channel. And I started out as a secretary and got along with the guy who was in charge. And I worked my way up. I wound up going from secretary to associate producer, eventually to copywriter, promo producer. And that's basically where I got my skills. I was there for 8 years and won a lot of awards with the Sci-Fi Channel. So it was a really great experience. And I think that helped me become a really ultimate, producer, because I got to learn everything from the ground up. So I really know how television works. From a worker bee all the way to someone who's delegating jobs. So I really contribute all of that to working for NBC Sci-Fi Channel.
Nice. And so then how did you transition into being an entrepreneur and then starting your, video post-production company?
Well, being over at NBC, I was the only Black and I was the only female for a long time. So you can imagine some of the stress that I was going through with corporate, and that led me to go freelance. So when I went freelance, I started working for a lot of the Viacom networks, from Comedy Central, Spike TV, Lifetime, and a couple of others. And as a promo producer, I was producing content for all of these networks. And then I just decided that I can produce content for myself. And the good thing was I had a lot of good connections, networking with a lot of editors and graphic artists and music, engineers. And I asked them to come on to one of my projects. And that project wound up being a television show, a talk show on BBC. And it was called The Turn On, where I talked love, sex, and relationships with the stars. And I got a 24-hour green light with that pilot because of my promo producing background. I really know how to package for the networks. I know what they're looking for. I know what they like. And being trained like that for 8 years, it was just easy. I knew what I wanted. I knew what the network was looking for at the time. And when I packaged it all together, they called me back within 24 hours. So did that for 3 years. But I'm still thinking as a producer and not so much as an entrepreneur. So that experience kind of, I guess, not failing, but being successful for 3 years with a television show, but then not understanding how come my celebrity status didn't go up, was when I became an entrepreneur. I guess through, I don't want to call it a failure because nothing is ever a failure, it's just a journey. But I guess through that helped me become an entrepreneur. And that's what helped me to launch T.O.S Network, because I kept seeing how networks was doing certain programming, and I felt like there was programming missing for singles, someone like myself. So that kind of launched me out into the whole entrepreneurship world, if you will.
Now, it's really definitely a big dream for someone to start a television network. Like that's like real big dreaming because I know so many people are, scared to even think of doing something, like that. And so you're talking about, having the inspiration coming from the Turn On, with your show on BET, having it run for, a number of years and then kind of transitioning out of that space to something that gave you more, control. And I would also say financial opportunity as well, kind of owning, the network. And so, what has it been like, creating a network from the ground up? Like, give us a, few of kind of your greatest successes so far.
Well, I can say it's been crazy. It's been crazy good. Um, I guess with starting a network, it's an online, it's second screen right now. And I only have the prototype going because I wanted to test the audience. And I'm doing a lot of research and development through it because technology is just continually, just changing continually. And talent is always coming out. And with these social media apps, attention span is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So you have things that people are watching that are 30 seconds. So you have to really take your time and really research your target audience and research what's going on with media as it stands today. And I guess with my prototype and with starting the T.O.S Network, I contribute my networking connections, not so much having a lot of financial freedom, but being very wealthy and networking and having the right camp around you. So I would always give that advice to people. If you don't have the financial freedom, definitely put stock in networking with the right like-minded people and really putting a team together. So I was able to do this with an excellent team out in DC. I had 5 great individuals that brought their talents to the game. And together we believed in the target audience, singles, and we believed in, providing another platform for not just viewers, but for people behind the cameras. And together we put the TOS network out there and we got some really great response. And right now what I'm concentrating on is the financial freedom. It's easy to start a platform, but maintaining it is what you really should concentrate on next. And so for me, those 5 great people that started with me, I want to be able to have them on for a long term, like an NBC, like a Viacom, like a Netflix or Hulu. You want to be able to keep your employees, employed. So that's what I'm working on right now is the research and development and putting a big business plan together for a couple of investors that are interested. And it's really funny when people come to you with money, you really have to be prepared for it because you don't want to mess up an investor's money and you want to make sure that you give them added value on their, return on investment. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, you know what I love is that you're a serial entrepreneur. And so it's like you have your post-production kind of video company, then you start, this television or online network, and then you have some other projects that are also going on, on the side. But I think kind of having that myriad of experience, you definitely, like you said, kind of know the ropes and you know the game. And so you know that, with this kind of bigger venture that you're going after right now with starting this network, like you said, like, it's one thing to start something, but in terms of growing it and actually, being able to bring in the financial revenue to push it to the next level, whether that's, starting with the seed investment, from, venture capitalists or angel investors, or, whether it's raising the money through other means, definitely being responsible, with that money and knowing the best place to put it, like that definitely is super essential. And so where would you say, would you say that you've learned that kind of just from, being an entrepreneur? Have you had some great mentors kind of in the kind of network space that have, told you kind of how you should build out? Give us a bit of a snapshot of kind of how you've approached this.
Okay, well, it was a little bit of all of that, but I would say hands-on experience. It's really how I learned to do this with the show. The Turn On, I was the executive producer and Libra Baby Burley Productions kind of came out of that deal. I did a license deal with the network where I provided the content and all they did was, put it on their network and distribute it. So I was in charge of everything. I was in charge of writing the show. I was in charge of hiring the production to produce it. I was in charge of talent, sound, location scouting. I had to deal with PR people. I had to deal with the record labels. I had to do everything myself. And that's how I know about, when you're dealing with the budget, where it needs to go. So you have to be very mindful. And I made some mistakes with some of the, hiring certain people. One of the best advice that I can give you and everyone listening is when you're hiring someone, definitely research their work and get references. With technology today, people can steal other people's work and post it off as theirs. So when you are in an executive producer type of title or position, make sure you do the research on the people you're hiring. That's a really big mistake with money and with budgeting. And then, yes, I have mentors. I have mentors that I don't know, and I have mentors that I do know. Mentors that I don't know is like Oprah Winfrey or Sir Richard Branson. You read their material, you find out their successes. And then I have real life mentors, people who are more successful than I am. And I just talk with them and I ask them, certain tips and certain trades, or sometimes I just vent and they allow me to vent and then they give me their advice on that point. So mentors are very important. It's very important.
Yeah. And so I know that kind of, with all of the knowledge that you've accumulated, you also teach people online who want to break into the TV industry. So tell us as well about your Udemy course, how to create a winning TV pilot proposal.
I came up with that because I have a lot of clients. I consult individuals and artists who are looking to kind of get out into this field professionally, whether they want to be a star or if they just really want to make, a living off of what they do as a passion. And a lot of people come to me because of television and they have great ideas, but they don't know where to start. And I kept getting that over and over and over again. So I decided to create this course to just go over the real basic, fundamental, but key elements that is needed in a proposal for any network, any investor, any distributor to take you seriously. Because a lot of times people have the idea in their head and they think what they like and what they want is what the networks want. And they forget that it's a business and it's about money first. So with my online Udemy course, you get to really understand how to take your idea from out of your head and to really see it as a business and then put it into a written proposal, which a lot of times, a lot of people forget. They think they need to do a pilot or a sizzle reel, but they forget they have to do a paperwork proposal. So they'll get to a pitch meeting and the executive may say, well, where's your paperwork? And a lot of them don't have the paperwork because they just spent their money on all of this video. You have to have something written for the executive to be able to follow along with and for them to see it, kind of like a business plan. So that's why I came up with that. And Udemy is a great platform, easy to get to. So many other teachers are out there teaching, whatever it is that they can share, different experts on different things. And so I think it's a great platform for anyone who has anything that they know that they're really good at and they want to share. I think, they can go on Udemy and come up with the class just like I did.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And you're absolutely right. I think when people do think of putting together a TV show or wanting to be on TV, whatever it is, they automatically think like, okay, I got to go shoot a pilot and I have to have this, dope pilot and, video, etc. But I would say that very few people probably do think like, okay, wait, like I also have to have a proposal and then would actually know what needs to go into that proposal. So what would you say is kind of like, one like major thing that, a producer or a network or whatever would look for in a written proposal?
Well, one of the things with the network is they want to know how your idea fits with their programming. That's the first thing you should think about. A lot of people say, oh, I have this great show, I have this great idea. And then I said, well, what network do you see it on? Well, all of them. And I go, well, is it about food? Well, no. Well, then it's not good for the Food Network. And then I said, oh, okay. And then is it for kids? No. Well, then it's not good for Nickelodeon. So do your research, on the network that you think your show belongs on. Do your research on that network and then figure out how to turn your idea so that it is, appetizing to that network, and think of it as a business. How can you serve them? Because you are going to them. It's not the other way around. It's not that you have a great idea and they need your show. No, it's the other way around. So I always say, think of that. So in my course, I really stress knowing your idea and being very specific with what it is.
And then how do you take it to the next level? Like after, people, put together the winning proposal, and then, they have the pilot, how do they actually, pitch to the networks? How do they even get in touch with, the networks to have that, opportunity?
That's a good question. I actually share that in my Udemy course. If you don't have an agent, then get an entertainment lawyer. That's one of the easiest and fastest way to get your material in, because networks do not take unsolicited, packaging. So get an entertainment lawyer, because they have a Rolodex. And in that Rolodex, they should have, PR agents, and they should have a connection to the network. If you can't get an entertainment lawyer, I would suggest find someone like myself or someone like you, who have contacts to television or to big post-production houses. Big post-production houses also, they're represented by agents, and they have contacts, to the networks. So that would be my best advice.
That's great advice. You guys, she totally just gave you a gem, because I didn't even know about the entertainment lawyer piece. So I just learned something as well. So yeah, that's absolutely, fantastic advice. And so for sure, for anyone who's listening and is considering creating a TV show, I'm going to link up Charlotte's Udemy course in the show notes. So you definitely, have to check that out for sure, for sure. So I think my next question is, because like with the Turn On, you've had a lot of kind of celebrity oriented content on your show with BET. So, you interviewed, or did, at least segments with Janet Jackson, Serena Williams, Magic Johnson, and your boo, The Rock, because I know how much you love Dwayne Johnson. So, kind of, but I also noticed, like with kind of the TOS network, you've gone in a bit of a different direction. You've kind of focused on more kind of independent content creators, not so much celebrity content. So I'm curious as to what's your vision kind of moving forward with, programming for your network?
Well, I think that the celebrity, I guess, wow factor is still there. But if you look at YouTube and if you look at Facebook and Instagram, real people are starting to become the celebrities. People like what they like, and they're not so focused on celebrities as much as they used to. Also, what I realized with I really like the African American community. I'm Black, and so I was doing the whole Black celebrity. And the reason I had to, take the show off eventually is because I was running out of stars. So when you really rely on celebrities, your content is limited. So I wouldn't advise that to anyone, to just only focus on celebrities. Add them in, make them special, events. That way you're giving the audience something different. But I think if you give the audience, really good actors and actresses and really good content, they will come. And a perfect example would be the NWA movie. They didn't use a lot of celebrities, and look at the success that they got. I think people are hungry for new faces, and we need more new, colorful faces. And so that's what the TOS network is definitely going to be about. definitely want to, do what Spike Lee did back in the day. He created so many stars. And the only way we can do that is you have to give new talent a platform. And that's what I'm looking to do. You also got to give Tyler Perry credit for that. He gives a lot of new talent. So does Oprah. They use celebrities as well, but they are advocate of giving new talent. So that's what the T.O.S Network is going to be all about. And that's going to be in front of the camera and behind. I want fresh new talent across the board because the networks, they're still old fashioned. They just use the same people over and over again. And it's just ridiculous. We have too much talent and the world needs to see it.
You know what? I love that you have this focus on new talent because I do think that there aren't enough opportunities for new talent to actually get the exposure out there. So that's absolutely awesome. And so tell us more, like what's, maybe what are some shows that are your favorites that, the TOS network has, premiered, or maybe not your favorites. I don't know if you can necessarily pick a favorite, but, what are some that you want to highlight in terms of maybe some of your greatest successes, with shows on your network?
Okay, well, right now you can see reactions with Samson. He's a DC, big superstar, and he's really growing. He's an openly LGBT comedian, and Robin Williams and Whoopi Goldberg and the likes, they love this guy and he's really good. And so I have him hosting this show called Reactions, where we go around and we recreate single crazy dilemmas. And then we show these dilemmas to people on the street and we get their reactions, their raw reactions. That's one of my favorite shows. And then Penthouse 11, I can't talk about that too much because I'm working with too many people on that, and they're kind of like underground getting some of the things together. But that's going to be a musical platform for new artists and, showcasing some artists that don't get the love that they deserve. Like we don't see enough of like the Erykah Badu's. We don't see enough of, I can't think of his name right now. It's a whole camp of like talent that we just don't, the radio just keep using the same rotation. So we would like to expose those that don't get the rotation love that they deserve. So I don't want to call them underground artists. They're superstars in their own right. It's just, they're not quote unquote commercial. So that platform is going to be really good. I think that's probably going to be my favorite show. And let's see what else. A couple of things that I have in development, but right now on the prototype, you can see reactions, and we have a couple of episodes with that. And Penthouse 11, we exposed a group that is really big overseas. So right now, it's just a prototype for me to really talk to investors. I want them to just see what this network can be and show them some of the talent and the people behind the scenes, and then we're going to just take it from there. So I can't say too much on it, but that's what I can give you for now.
Well, that works for us, and we look forward to definitely seeing more, come out hopefully, in the next year, shifting from the prototype, into the next phase of the network, because I think it's really cool, like I said, for you to be giving new talent an opportunity and for you to be creating such, I feel, different types of shows than what I've, necessarily seen on television. It's really refreshing, even if, everyone goes to, the tosnetwork.com and, checks out, some of the pilots and, different shows that you've already put up, on the site. I think that they'll see kind of that you really do have a different flavor than what's currently out there. So that's really cool.
Yes, definitely. And like I said, I contribute that to, just being a serial entrepreneur and just trying things. And that's the other piece of advice I would give everyone. If you have a passion for something, just go for it. And if you don't have the money, find the resources, so network with like-minded people, talented people who want to get out there and do something new and just get it done. And then that'll help you build up your your Rolodex, and it'll help you build up your tolerance for the ups and the downs, if you will.
the TOS network, right now is, under review by, prospective investors and, planning a new launch. And so, I mean, is there anything else kind of going on in your life, with your career and, your other companies that you want to share with the audience? Tell us how we can support you.
With the Udemy course, that's it. But right now I'm doing a lot of research and development, and I'm actually pitching a couple of shows. I have a big pitch round coming up in October. I've been working on a couple of shows for like the last, I would say, 6 months. I have a couple of partners, and we've just been really doing our research and putting in the grind and the time and getting the paperwork proposals together, some sizzles together, some pilots. So we're going to be pitching half a dozen networks. So I'm excited about that. So that's what I've been busy with, working with some really talented copywriters and producers. And so my Libra Baby Burley Productions, that's what I've been focusing on, creating content for other networks and content for clients. I have a couple of clients that, we did some things and their stuff got picked up. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. So a lot of stuff I can't talk about because of NDAs, but I've just been kind of busy doing the work and keeping quiet.
I hear that. I totally hear that. Well, Charlotte, you're breaking ground, girl, and I really, really look forward to seeing the progress with the TOS network and the new shows that you have coming out under Libra Baby Burley Productions. We definitely understand that you can't, say too much when you're under an NDA. But we look forward to seeing, any programming that you touch, on, more networks as well. So yeah, wishing nothing but, powerful, expansive success.
And the same with you. I'm so proud of you. If I haven't told you enough, I'm just really proud of you. You are an entrepreneur that I think is it's just mind blowing. You go for it and you do it with such professionalism and such taste and quality and class. And I just wanted to say thank you again for what you provide for us all as well.
Thank you. And so everyone, you can check out Charlotte's network at thetosnetwork.com. And if you want to create your own TV pilot proposal to pitch a major network, visit Charlotte's episode page on arielleloren.com to get the link to her Udemy course. And thank you again, Charlotte, for coming on the show. Much love to you.
Thank you for having me, and good luck with everything.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. You can subscribe to The Arielle Loren Show on iTunes, Android platforms, and YouTube. Just follow the links on arielleloren.com. But don't click off this episode just yet. I always like to give a free gift, discount, or special offer away for every episode, so hold on for a few seconds. If you love this episode and want to talk to me about your business, schedule a date with me at arielleloren.com/agency. Every day I work with entrepreneurs to bring in more money to their businesses and eliminate the stress of what's not working. Go to arielleloren.com/agency. Let's get working on your business and get rid of what's not working for you today. arielleloren.com/agency.